Welcome everybody to another Righteous Villan radio interview. We live, man, with the homie Red Mud, Red Star, and 1,400 other nicknames and monikers and all that. Hey man,
crazy joke.
Hey man, so you got a lot of questions to be answering, and you got some information you need to give these people.
Okay, that's
so this ain't the time to be nervous. You know what I mean? So
I'm chilling, man. I'm cooling. Hey. You know, it's always good to be around family and just relaxing and not dealing with a whole bunch of stressful shit. So what's good?
Okay. So hey man, you ready to jump into it, or you want to ease into it? You want to?
Hey man, no questions are off limits.
All right. So first of all,
here we go.
How many different monikers do you go by? How many?
Well, right now, about 5.
All right, let's have them. What are they? And what are they? Hold on. Wait. Hold up. He said, let's make it interesting. Let's make it interesting. So, each one of these alias, AKAs, monikers that you go by, what is it that they convey? And what is it that you want the people to know about them?
That it's all the same person, just doing different forms of music, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't really, it's dope, you know what I mean? It's just, I get tired of doing one thing vocally. So I'll just, like, all right, I'm gonna go do something else for a little bit. Cause I'll sing some R&B.
Hold up, wait. Cause you got Jacquees running around talking about he was a king of R&B. So what kind of R&B?
I can, sing a little bit of everything. Like sing a little bit of old school, some new school. You know, if I know a song, I can sing it. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. And so that will be under William Anthony. You know what I'm saying? And then Red Mud is my, the hip hop thing, like the backup, knowledge, information, backpack. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge,
bars,
information, bars,
bars. Bars.
And then you got Red Star, which is kind of like a combination of Red Mud and Starseed, and you spell that R3DD $TR. You type that in on YouTube, I got like 30 joints to pop up. Matter of fact, I just did a video shoot. We just did a video shoot for one of the joints, Rain's on there, featuring none other than Jeck the General.
Who that is?
That nigga behind the camera talking shit. And that's Red Star's a combination of Red Mud and Starseed. Starseed is like the psilocybins, tripped out, psychedelic dude. So like Red Star's like a combination of Red Mud and Red Star. Then I got this other joint that I've gotten a couple of songs done for, but it's like I'm called Black Slave. You know what I'm saying? But it's like a anti-government political black rock star type dude.
Quite an interesting I mean, I'm pretty sure people are gonna hear that and be like,
what the fuck?
Should we be offended? Should we be concerned? I mean,
and you have the right to be offended. You have the right to be concerned. You have the right to like it. You have the right to not like it, right? And that's where, like, I feel like a lot of people get this freedom thing mixed up, right? So, like, and I was this way before I even went to the military or anything like that. So, just throwing that out there. But like, man, you ain't really free if the only time that you view yourself as free is when something doesn't infringe upon what you believe is right, then you really ain't free.
Right. But see, I agree with that.
You get what I'm saying? Like, soon as something touches somebody's personal beliefs, all of a sudden it's this hassle and everybody wants to fight about it and go to war about it or do whatever the fuck to somebody else because they live their life a different way than you live your life. Motherfucker, you're not free. That's an illusion of freedom.
Right. I mean, I can go for that. I can understand your perspective. And not many will, because most people have a mind that's pretty much built on popularity of other people's thoughts, and that's pretty sad. But we're going to keep moving.
And personal beliefs. Like,
yeah,
you have to understand that, like, freedom is a collective thing. It's not just for you.
True indeed. I feel like, most people have a different take on what freedom means to them based on their personal beliefs and the things that have been instilled in them since they were young. But,
Right. But you can't enforce that on nobody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like for real, like all the shit that people fighting and bickering about, like, see, I don't care about none of it, honestly. Like, as long as it doesn't transfer into systemic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, don't disregard my capability to have a certain skill set and do a job because you don't agree with how I live my life or the color of my skin or this is that. Like, you're allowed to have all that shit in your home. Feel how the fuck you want to feel at home, right?
Right.
But when it's time to go to work, do you possess the skill set to do it or not? That's what you should be judged upon. That's how I view the shit. Because I mean, you can't stop people from being racist. You can't stop people from being sexist. You can't stop people from being anything. But what you can do is put policies in place that says, you know what? You can't bring that shit here. The same way I can't bring my shit there. The same way I can't bring my shit there. Whatever shit that I got going on that you don't agree with. You know what I'm saying?
So it's safe to say, man, by all of that, and you giving up a lot of those views, all those things pretty much permeate through your music in one form or another.
Most definitely.
So we're going to keep on pushing because that was the first question. And look how long that took. 6 minutes, 31 seconds later, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, man.
Very thorough, very thorough.
Got a lot of thoughts.
So musical influences that actually got you started when you were at what age?
Man, I mean, my auntie told me when I was like 2 years old, all I would do was sit there and just bob my head. Like I had music playing in my head. So, I mean, I guess you could say that's when it started. That's the first thing that anyone ever said to me about it. But like, you know what I'm saying? I've been beating on desks, beating on trash cans, beating on paint cans, beating on jelly jars, and turning pans into drum sets. And I've been doing all that type of shit since I was little. So, I mean, music, I just look at it as music is something that's been in me. Now, as far as like influences, shit, man, like my dad was born 1932 and my mother was born 1939. So you could pretty much say my dad like was a blues and jazz guy. So he would play, the 45s, not 33s, 45s. Of like Red Peroxide or something like Sammy Lockjaw, all these, of course Miles Davis and all of those guys, all the great jazz musicians. But he played Son House. He would play Robert Johnson, Willie Brown, Blind Lemon Jefferson. Like my dad played a lot of that stuff. And then my mother, she was born 1939. She was more into like Motown and soul music. So James Brown, Otis Redding, Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke, the usual. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that influence was there. But then when I go to my grandmother's house, I got cousins that's about 10 to 12, 13 years older than me, and so like they're teenagers in the 80s. I'm born in 80. They teenagers in the 80s, so they listening to Roxanne Shante and the hip hop. How hip hop was just starting to pop out. Like, so they're listening to that and they're teenagers at that time. And then like, of course, we from Northern Virginia, so we got go-go in our blood, you know what I mean? So like Junkyard Band, Red Essence, like, you know what I mean? Shit like that. Now, of course, Backyard and Groovers and all of that. So we got all of that in our blood. So the musical influences are very, very heavy, actually. And the congas was actually the first instrument. Congas are probably actually the only instrument that I would feel accurate in saying that I actually know how to play. And I can pick up any instrument and make something out of it. I can create a loop out of anything. I hear sound, I like it, or I don't. But I'm pretty proficient on the congas. So I would say, I used to take a jelly jar and peanut butter jar and 2 paint cans with different levels of paint in them for my low congas, and I would just try to copy what Lil Mickey would do, or try to copy what Wink would do. Lil Mickey from Red Essence and Wink from Junkyard. You know what I'm saying? I would try to copy what they would do, Cause I just love to play, you know. And quiet as kept, don't tell nobody this, but
Scrooge.
I got
Nobody. I'm glad somebody said something. Shout out to Alex Scott. Shout out to Alex Scott. I'm glad somebody said something.
I could actually teardrop on paint cans, bruh.
Wow. So a lot of people will be a little bit like in disbelief, bruh, when they hear that.
I could teardrop on paint cans. You know what I'm saying? Like I could teardrop on them paint cans.
Hold up. For people that's not from here though, they don't even know what a teardrop on the Congo is.
The teardrop is when you take your thumb and you brace.
No, you don't tell them what it is. Don't give them the.
Well, I mean, you got a conga here.
But you gotta. It's a sound that it makes.
I'm gonna give them that part too. But I'm gonna show them how to do it.
So now you're doing this in an instructional video. Then no, man, we gotta charge extra for that.
No, they can have it, man. Music is free, bro. Music, love, and life is free.
Shit, Jimi Hendrix ain't showed us not one nail riff, nigga.
He showed you everything. He showed you everything.
Carlos Santana did not show us shit.
He showed you everything. You just wasn't paying attention.
Lucille, when Lucille was in the man's hand, she sang alone. Lucille.
She showing up did.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Nah, but like you brace your middle finger with your thumb, right? And then you get a little moisture on your finger and you rub it across the kunga.
Hey, don't sound like a Congo rub. That sound like we about to turn this into a rated X goddamn conversation. Anyway, continue.
Well, that part too.
Yeah. You got somebody thinking about it right now.
Good practice.
Can he really do that?
It's good
Ask him about his sex life.
It's good practice.
Ask him about his love life. It's some guy. Look, somebody probably hitting your DM right now talking about red mud. Oh my God! How you do that again? Do it
red mud's out the door. You're talking to black slave right now. No. But like, you know what I'm saying? You rub it across the conga and it goes. It makes this sound. And if I have a coolest here, it's like that. You know, so like. That's, those are my musical influences, man. And there's nothing like live go-go, like anybody who's ever been
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I love all forms of music. You know what I'm saying? Good music is good music, but ain't nothing like a live go-go. So those are my influences.
All right. So now that we're at the 12-minute mark, we're not going to take too much of these people's time. So we're going to give some quick ones. We're going to try to run through a few more questions, man, to get these people more acclimated with you as an artist or many artists under one hat, since you have so many monikers, names, AKAs.
Mental health issues, bro.
I mean, the schizophrenic artist, also known as Wayman, also known as Red Star. You can hear that. You can hear the release, like the old Coconuts or Waxy Maxy's commercial. Pick it up right now. 10 niggas' names.
And every last one of them niggas ain't right. You know what I'm saying?
All right, but no. So you come from Warrenton, Virginia, or where was the origin?
I grew up in Turnbull, which is outside of Warrenton, Virginia, one of the first actual black settlements. You know what I'm saying? Like our area, not just Turnbull, but Fauquier County itself is a very, very, very important area. And Fauquier County, Culpeper County, all these places, right? Like this is where a lot of shit started. So like these areas are very, very important to not just where we are, obviously, but this whole country. You know what I'm saying? And you look at like now you got a lot more influx of people coming in past 20 years or so. But when I was coming up as a kid, the black families and the white families that were there had been there for years, and they went back for years and years and years and years. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So coming from there though, because the reason I asked, and one of the reasons that I wanted to put the question out there for those who didn't know about artists that come from smaller areas, especially historically rich smaller areas, is what impact did that have on your career early on when you decided, hey, I'm gonna do this music? Was it gonna impact it for you to become popular, or was you doing it for the love, or you know what I mean? Those are the things.
I just started doing music. I never really thought about why I started doing music until later on, and it's all guesswork. But at the root of it all, I just love to make music. I love to make music, and because I know what a great song has done for me. You know what I mean?
Right. So I understand that.
You know what I mean? If somebody makes something, it's just damn, man, everything that I've been trying to say, been trying to process, you put that in a song. That's something to be appreciated and respected. And I feel like today, where we're at today, all forms of art don't really get the due diligence that they deserve. I feel like in more ancient times, artists were held with high regard, as opposed to now it just people just look at it as a oh, you this old and you still making music. Like,
well,
first of all,
allow me to interject.
I love it. You know what I mean?
have to interject.
Most definitely.
And the reason that I'm gonna interject is because that's a very valuable, valid, but a very valuable point that you're presenting. Because for people that are watching this interview and listening and to hear, you know, the influences that you come from, the reason that you continue to go and continue to evolve as an artist and push. See, most people don't know that there's a difference between you doing things for recognition in a retail market versus you're trying to put yourself in more of a market for people who are seeking for an experience to enjoy what it is that you push out. And this is where a lot of people lose it, because what tends to happen is we're fed the retail propaganda.
Right.
And this is why age limits have only slapped on one genre of music.
Exactly.
And this is also why the success stories are limited, because once these people cross over into the popular realm, it's almost like it really does something horrible.
Right.
Into what they could, you know.
And let's take it further. Who slapped that age limit on hip hop though?
Well,
we did.
The thing, well, actually,
the psychological repercussions of slavery have done that, bro.
Actually, no, I'm going to disagree. Because and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I've also done a lot of research in this. Because as you know, me owning a label, me going to the labels, me listening to what they're saying, me taking all these reference points and saying, okay, here's the ingredients to why.
Right.
Now let's see the what. So this is why. The powers that really run the show came up with a formula a long time ago that they saw was a good work for them because it was profitable.
Right.
Is that you take these artists that are younger because they're naive to business.
Right.
So then once they become, just like in any athletic arena, this is why they push the older athletes out also. Because once they get older, start understanding how to manage their money, how to make sound investments, how to think smart.
I think that's a bad comparison.
Hold up. Let me.
I gotta can't keep up no more.
I gotta make my point.
But actually, that's not.
Well, it's the same thing. Listen, this is all business we're talking about. This right here deals with money. I'm telling you right now. Once you're able to make sound decisions with your money, and you are no longer controlled by what's that part of your name you just called yourself? Black slave. Once you're outside of that grip that they can hold on your ignorance, and then make more money from you than you make from yourself. See, this is what keeps you pushing. You got to know you got to turn over X amount of dollars to be able to turn this into the label so that you can get your proceeds and continue forward. This is why a lot of them got locked into those dead-end clause contracts to where their stuff hit the shelf. They locked them in so they could not go out and make this money and damage the sales from someone else they have an investment in.
That's fair.
So really, when you look at the whole thing, what you're seeing is a culmination.
That's a byproduct, though.
It's a culmination of people who are not looking like you in the mirror, who are not thinking like you in the mirror, who have no reference to how you think, act, or anything,
and that's a
controlling everything around it.
I'm with you 100%. I feel you on that. But there are other elements involved too, because these are things that people have said to me.
It's called but it's also called social engineering.
Programming,
But the programming come from a source, but we did not create the Willie Lynch letter.
No, exactly. Psychological repercussions of slavery, though.
It's psychological repercussions, not only from slavery.
Mental slavery, physical slavery, you know what I'm saying? All of it.
Economic slavery.
Of course.
For number one.
Of course.
Slavery without chains, without physical bondage, mental bondage, and then being reciprocated by those who are taking this in and saying, you know what, right, he shouldn't still be doing that.
Yeah, but we were taught to hate ourselves through that physical bondage, though.
Absolutely.
So you can't negate that from the equation.
Before we get over to a 37-minute debate, what you have to look at is core facts.
We will.
Core facts always come down to why do these artists leave broke? Why do a lot of people leave broke? It's all designed to churn butter for someone else's bread besides your own.
Most definitely.
So if they can get you,
what that got to do with being young?
Okay, so let me give you a quick.
Hold on.
I'm gonna show you. 1 minute and 10 seconds. I'll explain it to you. I went to Universal when I was 24. Talked to the A&R there. My manager was. I'm not gonna mention his name just for
whatever reason. I got you.
Credibility and things of that nature, and trying to keep certain things concealed. But the A&R was really cool, and he pulled me to the side. Me and my homeboy at the time went up there, and my homeboy was significantly older at the time. He was like 37, and he's like, yeah, with this industry, they really don't want to deal with those who kind of got to figure it out because they can't mold you into what they want because you're already there. So technically speaking, when he was speaking to my man, he was like, you should already have money to start doing things so that we can approach you as a business partnership rather as trying to cultivating you to shape you into the doll that we want to rag.
But he didn't though. And the reason why is because he was never taught economics.
Bro,
so it don't matter how old you are.
Hold up. We're not dealing with nothing outside of what happened that day. He looks at me. It said, so your story's pretty much similar, but you're exactly where they'll want to try to take you in the directions. He said, but I'm going to give you some sound advice. Learn, master economics for yourself. Get in, get out. I'm an A&R here, and I'm telling you to get in and out. Most young artists make the mistake of being comfortable here. Right. It's like he said, did you make a pillow in a cotton field and lay in your job, or did you go out there slave and come back to the shack angry and tired every night? He said the problem is they're making their homes in the cotton
field. Exactly.
So that's the reason why I said all of that. So we can give pretty much, if anyone's younger listening to this that haven't been to labels and understand the will that they got out there to try to catch you in, this should be valuable information so that you can try to seek to go independent.
Very true.
Now where we have taken it back.
Yeah, and there's so many elements. There's so many resources to get your music out.
Well, the thing is, we always had access to certain resources, but we did not stand behind one another.
Oh yeah,
and at that time it was a super crab in the barrel.
But where we get now, we're going back to.
Well, it was more or less the elitism that was placed on. Hey, the good house. You already know we ain't gonna go there. But
how we're trained, how we've been trained to be towards each other.
Oh yeah, that's the core principle.
That's how the rest of the game plays out. Is all I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
I'm in 100% agreement with you about these other symptoms.
Oh yeah, they're definitely
byproducts. Like, they're byproducts, sure. But it's rooted in that whole from buck breaking and all of that type of shit. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely correct.
So that's all I was saying.
We're at the 22-minute.
Hey, we're at a good place, man. Let's just keep.
All right. So now we're gonna just go ahead and run it down because we're trying to keep this at a reasonable time. I wanted to keep it under a half hour just for people's time not being overly constrained.
Hey, man, good thing about YouTube, you can cut the joint on and off.
Oh man, exactly. But people's attention span. So we're gonna go to the next question. So when you first started doing music, who were some of the people that you worked alongside, almost like partners in crime at the time when you first decided I'm going to do this thing and I love it? You know what I mean?
Okay, so
humble beginnings. You know what I mean? We all have them.
First, it was just myself, and I'm sitting there playing tapes with whether it be Nas or Bone or Pac or whatever, and just writing my own rhymes over their words and stuff. That's where it started from that standpoint. And then you actually produced my first album.
Yeah, I remember that. That was
the Forgotten Seed joint.
Yeah,
you threw me 2 CDs full of beats, and I put 11 joints together, and I recorded them at this dude named Rick's house. Good dude. Yeah, like you threw me the beats and I record. So that was my first album. So I would say that was my first album. But then I did start working with my man Sean Carter, not Jay-Z, obviously, right? Eric Kinney, my man Sean Turner, my man Craig Riddle, Jason Bell, the good doctor who we got plenty of music together, man. That's my guy right there. Yourself, Count Fifth, that was pretty much the extent of my producer table to like, here's some beats, go hone your craft, write some dope shit, do whatever, you know what I'm saying? So like that's where that started, and then I ended up I had signed with a label called Man Bites Dog, and I got to do features with met some pretty cool people, and never actually put out an album. To this day, never really understood why, but I mean, they had probably 150 songs on mine. But maybe they just didn't believe in the product, which is perfectly fine if you don't, you know what I mean? Just say that and we, just move on or whatever. But there was, an issue with that. But I did feature with, got a feature with Killer Priest at that time. Copyright. I did other stuff that other people were supposed to be on, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know if they ever jumped on it or not, opened up for like Vanilla Ice, actually at Springfield and Jackson, Springfield.
Jax,
yeah.
That was the spot.
Opened up for You God at Jackson, Springfield. That was a terrible night. Motherfuckers, I'm just glad I didn't go to jail that night. Capadonna down in Johnson City, Tennessee. I think that might be it. Vast Day. I was working, trying to do something with Vast Day or whatever, and Kenyatta Black, and then they ended up they were off the label, and then I lost contact with him. I just reached out to him here recently, actually, though. Good dude. Yeah, so I'm kind of back in contact with some people that that I probably should have never lost contact with. No doing of my own, you know what I mean? But shit just happens. Sometimes people just, play strings a certain way, and if you don't talk to somebody, then you don't talk to somebody, so you don't even know what the hell's going on behind closed doors type shit. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it, right?
Okay, so all right, that's answering that to the most fullest extent.
Yeah, it is.
So I know that
they might feel differently about it. Do an interview with them too. Fuck it.
I mean, well, that's not neither here nor there. I mean, we definitely staying on point. The next thing, personal life questions. So I know military was in your life. I know that you have been overseas, seen things, and how has all of those things affected your perception of the things that you would want to follow in your career after having to deal with, the experience of warfare and battle and combat?
Well, like at this point, to be honest, like I care, but I don't give a fuck. So, and by saying that, it's like relationships, friendships, partnerships, like all of the things that a lot of people they hold real near and dear to themselves. Like, if it ain't my kids or my dogs, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I lost my dad in 2016, and I lost my mom last year, 2021. So like, after that, it's like, like the moment you show that your loyalty's not there to me, the way that I give it to you, all right, cool. I'm, done away with it type shit.
Right.
Because what's the point? Like, what's the point of prioritizing relationships with people that ain't gonna do right by you? Man, fuck that shit. Because I know what happens if I completely lose my shit.
Right.
Like you thinking fighting, and I'm thinking like literally cutting your fucking heart out type shit. So like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's just where it's at. So I don't really let too many people. I don't let too many people too close anymore. I don't really have a desire to be like, even when I perform and I leave. I get the fuck out of there.
So, man, I'm gonna tell you what, man. I feel what you're saying, and you know, all the personal woes that one could face could definitely turn one cold. I tell people that on a regular basis, but man, we're glad to have you come through, man, to the people's couch. I call that the people's couch. You know what I'm saying? That's the couch to sit outside the courtroom when you sitting there looking at the docket, waiting to go up in there. That's a painful couch.
Fuck that couch.
Yeah, no lie. That's the couch outside the social services when you pay your child support, waiting for your time to go up to the glass window. That's bulletproof, by the way. But man, we appreciate you coming through, man. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate you having me, man. But you know, it's a terrible, terrible storm coming through, man. About 80-mile-an-hour winds, destructive, crazy shit. I need to get on the road, get back home, get to my dogs. You know what I'm saying? Peace and love, man. Thank you for having me, bro.
You already know what it is,
Greatly
man.
Appreciate it, man.
That's it, man.
Family.
You already know what this is, man. Go check them out.
R3DD $TR on YouTube. R3DD space MUDD on all platforms. William Anthony and Black Slave coming. And then when the Blues dude come, I'm trying to tell you,